Hey guys, so as you probably know, the markets are a bit choppy right now at the moment with the US government shutdown. I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but basically there's a lot of economic crisis, a lot of concerns around jobs and how the basic economy will pretty much function in the US. So it might take until the end of the month till there's some concrete updates about how that situation will be handled. So in the meantime, we can expect a lot of choppiness on the charts. My plan is to continue trading as I usually would. It just means I might be expecting a lot more break-even trades than usual, but that's fine. Just sticking to the usual trading plans. So I'll just continue in my analysis as usual, because keep in mind, guys, like there's always going to be something happening in the world. So you can't ever wait for good market conditions. This is the market. There is no good conditions. So this is what I'll currently be looking at overall on EURUSD. We are in a bullish trend overall. However, we've just completed the retracement phase. You can see price came down to 50% of the range, and then we had the minor break. After that, of course, with the current speculation about the US government shutdown, we could see there's been a lot of choppiness since that news has come out. We did have a 4-hour demand initially after that minor break, and I did try and get a long position over here, and you can see started off well. I held through all of this choppiness, finally got the breakout, and then it reversed. So I did get a break even over here. And like I said, we can just expect a lot more break even trades, and that's just totally normal. That's just how we have to deal with the markets. So next, what I see is that we do have this 4-hour demand over here. And if that fails, then obviously we will have the break of this minor low, which means we gotta wait for price to probably come down to one of these more high probability demand zones, and it'll be much better to look for longs from one of these lower demand zones, and then we can just ride that all the way back up to the high of the range. So currently just waiting for you can see that we have a lot of equal lows being formed here, so very likely that we could just sweep that liquidity and then look for longs for any of the zones below. We do have a supply zone over here, so what's possible is, since we have this retracement going down into these lower zones, we might pull back up. Like, we have equal highs over here as well, so there's liquidity on both sides of this choppiness, so we could come up into that supply and then come down. But I wouldn't look for entries from here because it's lower probability since we've already completed retracement. So the overall trend is bullish. I'm not going to be looking for shorts, but it's a good place to, expect price to reach and then react to before heading down into the demand zones where we do actually want to trade from. So that's what I'm waiting for on EURUSD. And on GBPUSD, we are bearish overall, and we can see that we currently failed to hold or react from either of these 4-hour supplies. I did try to trade from them both, and this one reversed after the news, so ended up break even on this position. And you can see after that it was so choppy anyway, so that's why I'm saying just expect the break evens, because if you're not getting the initial breakout like this, the trade I took yesterday, beautiful initial reaction, like the entry was here actually, so great movement, got about halfway and then it started chopping again. So I just took the break even, although you can see that if I just hide this for a second, we had this 15-minute supply over here, and it looks like that is what is pushing price down further at the moment. But I do not regret not being in this position, because you can see that we've just returned back to this choppy range, so it could just continue sideways here again and then go back up or down. So it's still 50-50, so I don't mind being break even on this position. What I would rather be waiting for at the moment is this much more high probability supply zone over here, because it's, you know, this one is kind of aligned to the 50%, but this one is much clearly higher in premium pricing compared to the range. So I'd much rather look for shorts from here and then target the lows. And if price came up here as well, that means EU is probably going into this supply, and then we know that EU needs to come down to one of these better demand zones, even this nice one down here. Look how much liquidity we have remaining down here. So very likely, if we just mark this, price is going to come down to sweep all of this liquidity, fill up this gap, and react from this demand, which means these GU shorts would be very nice if price came up here as well. But possible that this supply could hold and price just reacts from here and continues from this 4-hour supply down to the 4-hour low. But yeah, those are the higher probability setups that I'm waiting for at the moment. So let's see what happens, and I'll just be continuing to trade as usual in the following weeks, and I'll do my best to keep posting on here again. So do tune in every now and then, and let's see how this month goes.